This wasn't just a ship. This was a symbol of power, triumph, and history itself. On her deck, the Second World War came to an end. She fought through the fires of the Korean War, rose again during the Cold War, struck targets in Iraq, and now stands as a monument guarding the entrance to Pearl Harbor. This is the USS Missouri, a battleship that became legend. Today you'll hear her complete story, from the laying of her keel to her final salvo. USS Missouri, hull number BB-63, was the fourth and final battleship of the Iowa class ever built. Her keel was laid on January 6, 1941, just 11 months before Pearl Harbor. America wasn't at war yet, but we were getting ready. She was built at the famous Brooklyn Navy Yard and built fast. The nation was racing to build naval power. Missouri hit the water on January 29, 1944. Her sponsor was Marion Truman, daughter of Senator Harry Truman, who would become president just 1 year later. Missouri began her sea trials off New York starting July 10th, then headed south to Chesapeake Bay for combat training. During this period, she worked alongside the new battlecruiser Alaska and several destroyer escorts. On November 11th, she departed for the West Coast. On November 18th, she passed through the Panama Canal and continued to San Francisco, where she was fitted out as a fleet flagship for Pacific operations. This was a floating fortress built to withstand bombs, torpedoes, and enemy artillery. The battleship's baptism by fire came in January 1945. She joined the Pacific Fleet and immediately sailed for the Philippine Sea, escorting aircraft carriers during massive air raids on Japan. In spring 1945, Missouri fought in one of the war's bloodiest battles, Okinawa. It was here that a Japanese Kamikaze pilot attacked her. The plane crashed into her hull, starting a fire. But amazingly, the damage was minimal. The crew saved their ship, put out the flames, and kept fighting. And here's something remarkable. The sailors found the Japanese pilot's body, carefully wrapped it in a flag, and buried him at sea with full military honors. Even an enemy deserved respect if he gave his life for his country. This wasn't just about strength, this was about honor. September 2nd, 1945, Tokyo Bay. On board USS Missouri, delegations from the Allies and Japan gathered. Right there on deck, a long table was set up with flags flying overhead. For Japan, Foreign Minister Mamoru Shigemitsu and General Yoshijiro Umezu signed the document. For America, General Douglas MacArthur, Admiral Chester Nimitz, and General Wainwright. Silence. One by one, the diplomats signed Japan's instrument of surrender. Cameras rolled, photographers captured eternity. The world held its breath. The war that claimed tens of millions of lives was ending on this ship's deck. After the war, Missouri became a symbol of American power. She carried President Truman to South America, patrolled the Mediterranean, showing U.S. strength in a region gripped by ideological conflict. But in 1950, battle again, the Korean War. The battleship pounded North Korean positions, covered marine landings, conducted nighttime bombardments of railways and fortifications. Missouri's guns thundered once more. After the conflict ended in 1955, the ship was decommissioned and placed in mothballs. She went to Bremerton, Washington. Many thought this was the end, but they were wrong. She sat in reserve for more than 30 years. But Missouri's story wasn't over. The 1980s. America was strengthening its fleet amid the Cold War. President Reagan launched his ambitious 600-ship Navy program. In 1984, at the height of the Cold War, the battleship was recommissioned under the U.S. Navy buildup program. She underwent massive modernization. Now she combined old power with new technology. Tomahawk missiles installed, capable of striking land targets thousands of miles away. Harpoon anti-ship missiles added. Phalanx close-in weapon systems mounted. Automated guns firing 4,500 rounds per minute. In 1991, during the Persian Gulf War, Missouri was in combat again. She fired 28 Tomahawk missiles at Iraq, supported American troops ashore with gunfire. This was the last time a battleship fought in battle, the final shot of a great era. The Soviet Union's collapse in the early 1990s and the absence of major threats to the United States led to sharp defense budget cuts. The high cost of maintaining and operating battleships in the active fleet became uneconomical. As a result, Missouri was decommissioned on March 31, 1992, in Long Beach. Her final commanding officer was Captain Albert Keiss. But no one could bring themselves to scrap her. Her place wasn't in a junkyard, it was in history. In 1998, USS Missouri was moved to Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, right there where World War II began for America. Today, she sits next to the remains of USS Arizona. Symbolic, one ship marks the war's beginning, the other its end. The battleship became a museum, memorial, and pilgrimage site. Hundreds of thousands of people annually walk her decks to touch history. She's appeared in movies like Under Siege and Battleship, the documentary series Life After People, and video games like World of Warships and Metal Gear Solid 4. Cher even filmed her music video for If I Could Turn Back Time on the forward gun deck. On October 14, 2009, Missouri was moved from Battleship Row to dry dock at Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard for a 3-month, $18 million overhaul. The work included installing a new anti-corrosion system, repainting the hull, and upgrading internal systems. Workers reported the ship was leaking in several places along the starboard side. The repair was completed in early January 2010, and on January 7, 2010, the ship returned to her berth at Battleship Row. A grand reopening ceremony was held on January 30th. In 2018, a $3.5 million project to restore and preserve the superstructure was completed, including the lower navigation bridge and open bridge levels. USS Missouri isn't just a ship, she's a witness. She saw death and victory. She brought destruction and gave the world a chance for peace. On her deck, wars ended and eras began. Today she stands in harbor, silent, proud, armored in time. And if you're ever in Hawaii, walk her decks. Look at that exact spot where the end of history's most terrible war was signed. This isn't just a battleship. This is memory itself.